Hi, a little bit of an update on what's happening on the workbench. One of the things that I forgot to mention in my second remake of the tools video was the hand drill. This one, a Maxi Craft. I just wanted to quickly show it again. A very, very handy tool, and if you can get something similar to that, really good. Couple of different bits. Can't remember what you call that little thing that holds the drill bits. That thing. A couple of different sizes of those so that you can put in different drill bits. And I brought out the flasher unit. This is the flasher unit that could be incorporated into a fuselage, but of course, as I said, I'd have to remake it really compact so that it could fit somewhere at the back there, hiding the components out of sight. So that's what I'll be doing in a future video, making a really compact version of that. But anyway, let's see how that flash works out. I can't remember exactly now. Not that way. Really awkward to hold this onto the battery when wires are not soldered. And my two batteries don't touch a lot of the time. Not flashing. Not flashing. Now it could be that these batteries have dropped to a voltage that is not quite good enough. They should still be okay, but I don't know why this is not flashing now. Nope. I'll have to get that sorted out and show it. Okay, well, I've got some Harvards on the workbench here. I did a bit of bulk spraying on cockpit greens and so on. I sprayed that surface there. Where's my fuselage? I can't see where. But the cockpit floor is covered by the plastic at the bottom surface there, so that was a bit of a redundant amount of work. And on this one I haven't painted it, but on this one I've cut away some of that section there. So on that one you are going to see it, and I still need to paint that green, because obviously the worst you could do is have a bright yellow shining through the bottom of your cockpit floor. And as I did mention in one of the other videos, what I do think would be good is having the upper surface continuous on these models, so that your upper surface is the cockpit floor rather than this method that they do like this. But anyway, that's what we've got to work with at the moment. Here and there I do remake an upper surface continuous. I'd sprayed a bunch of black parts. This is the Occidental engine, which I then painted with a little bit of, I just gave it a coat of the floor wax. so that when I do my dry brushing of the cylinders, I'm not painting onto as matte a surface, and in fact that looks really nice as it is there. So next time that'll be that'll have its dry brushing on it. This part here, now I want to show you something. So this has been painted matte black, and if you put on a floor wax coat at the moment, it would remain fairly black. But what I often do with parts that I've sprayed a somewhat heavy matte is I'll brush them, and I don't know to what degree this is going to come through on the video, but you're going to see how much less black it is after brushing. And that's not because I'm brushing away black and you're starting to see yellow. That is because the color is in fact not as strong a black as it used to be in years past. This is not a Humbrol, by the way. It's more of a grey color, and which I don't mind for this particular purpose, because it somewhat represents a slightly aged black on the actual aircraft, though this is bordering on a bit too grey. Sometimes that is not a bad feature of what you get, because on tires sometimes you want a little bit less hard black, almost tilting towards a bit of a grey. So but I mean, it's not guaranteed that when you brush a particular color that it does go lighter. You'll just have to see what happens with your own black that you're using, and of course it won't happen at all with gloss. Oh yes, I did want to mention a couple of things. Right. So on the Occidental Harvard, if you just built it straight up without test fitting too much, what you would have found is that the main wings, this little section over here was a bit too long, and so it shifts your whole main wing a little bit too far back, and you'd actually see it over here that where your flap is supposed to be in line with that ridge on the fuselage, it isn't. So I've filed away a little bit there. I would say that's probably right now. And of course your undercarriage, your wheel well covers there must line up well on the front of the fuselage. That was the one thing. There was something else that I wanted to mention, that yes, don't just trust these kits to have provided with the correct joining ability on all things. So when I glued this, one of the upper surfaces, obviously I test fitted and checked that it touched all of the areas here so that I could glue. It did on the one side, but on the other side it didn't. They had raised one of the sections of what would touch the upper surface of the wing, and if you didn't fix that, one of the whole sections here wouldn't be able to touch. I can't remember if it was there or there. So again, a bit of filing necessary to ensure that you do actually get a proper joint everywhere. It's slightly annoying on some of these models where thicker plastic is molded, and I don't know if you're going to see this on the video, but here at the tip there's a little bit of a dimple due to the plastic cooling. That's got quite a dimple there. Can you see that? Which is a bit of an annoying place to fill. Upper surface, I've painted silver. I've painted silver on the upper surface of the wing before gluing, but what you'll notice is that I haven't painted the lower surface, so I've still got yellow there and inside there and inside there, so there's still areas that need touching up inside there, and I'd rather touch up that way than spray a lot of silver on my surfaces. And that's one hint that I can make at this stage, is that try not to make work for yourself afterwards on the cleanup of parts that you sprayed because you didn't want to mask in the first place. So this one will be Canadian. I've got this set of decals which came with the Occidental. I've got another one which also will be Canadian and will be the Bessie color scheme, but that's a different decal to that. I would like to retain this yellow plastic as part of the base coat coloration, so I don't particularly want to have very different colors being oversprayed here, which will make my life very difficult when I get to spraying the airframe color. So don't try and save yourself on just achieving a bit of spraying but messing up an area. Rather take the time to mask. I'm also about to do a bit of dry brushing on the instruments there. I have done a bit of watercolor acrylic wash on this, which now makes it not very green anymore, but it has provided me the shadow effect that I want behind some of the things. So the next step will be to green it up again on sort of highlighted areas. So next time we'll see what that looks like. Oh, here's another thing for you. So this is obviously the old Monogram molding. I've put the flaps on, I've closed them up, looks very nice. Did take a bit of work to file off the insides. So if you try and fit this, it won't be flush. So you need to clean up a fair bit, sit and file that right down. But look at the Occidental kit. You put that in position. You can put one on there as well. And look at how much gap there is. There's about 1.5 millimeters of gap. So these flaps are way too narrow. And realistically speaking, you'd have to move them out to about there and put in a piece of plastic card. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet there. Another failing of the Occidental kit. And in case you didn't know, the ailerons have just been molded with a totally flat surface compared to the old Monogram molding. So you can see the Monogram is way better in that respect. What else have I got to say at the moment? I think that maybe one point I can mention is that I was going through my paints and one of my greens that I wanted to use was near the end of its life, just a last little bit in the bottom. And I tried to mix that up in the airbrush, but really it was just clogging and it had bits in it. And it's just not worth trying to use the last bit of a bad paint or paint that has now gone off, because cleaning and declogging your airbrush is a bit of an annoying task. Okay, that's it for now. More next time.